Does this football team have parallels to 2018? Could Ryan Poles do what Ryan Pace did this time of year 7 years ago? My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. And of course, the move that was made 7 years ago was a major blockbuster trade for Khalil Mack toward the end of training camp leading into week one, because that 2018 team felt like they were close, felt like they could make a push and really open up this window of opportunity to make a run and try and win a Super Bowl. And after that season, it felt like it could happen. And for a variety of reasons, it did not. You do wonder, does Ryan Poles feel like this team is entering a true championship window and making a major trade could push them deeper into that window? I think there is some reason to believe that. I also would think there's definitely a lot of risk in having that thinking. What I do know is that there are parallels that are legitimate. When you look at the outlook of the 2025 Bears, not only for this year, but for the next few years, and looking back at how we all felt in 2018 and how things played out. What's the first parallel? Well, you got this exciting young offensive head coach who I would argue actually comes in with more skins on the wall and more reason to be confident that you have the right head coach for the foreseeable future in Ben Johnson. Certainly Matt Nagy came in with a lot of juice and excitement coming from Andy Reid and Kansas City back in 2018 as well. Certainly had a lot of confidence and swagger in those press conferences and on the sideline and at training camp that we see out of Ben Johnson as well. Now, again, the big difference is Matt Nagy kind of showed over time he wasn't that great of a play caller. He didn't have a ton of true play calling experience as it was Andy Reid's offense, whereas in this case, Ben Johnson has a wealth of experience the last 3 years, and it's his offense that he built and engineered, and he's engineering a new one for this Bears team as well. But you do have that parallel. Another parallel is you have a young quarterback that you took number 1 overall, Mitch was number 2 overall, looking to take off in his second NFL season. And kind of like what I just said with Ben compared to Matt Nagy, Caleb Williams, you feel better about, even after 2 not-so-great practices to start training camp, than you did at the time with Mitch Trubisky coming off the rookie years, but also just from a raw talent standpoint. I mean, Mitch's rookie year with the John Fox situation, it just wasn't very good, right? Now, it wasn't so bad where it's like, he's not going to work out. I was never a big Mitch guy. I thought what we saw in 2018, the year after his rookie year, when he played serviceable, decent ball, I was like, okay, like he could play at this level for a while, and it didn't happen, obviously. But Caleb was certainly better as a rookie, and he's certainly more talented. I mean, the arm talent's not even close. I think he's a better thrower on the move than Mitch was, even though that was a strength of his as well. He's mobile. He had more experience coming out. There's really nothing you could point to in Mitch's game that was better than Caleb Williams. He's honestly just kind of just a way worse Caleb. Decent athlete, decent arm, questionable pocket passer, whereas Caleb obviously has to grow in the pocket, but rocket of an arm, good on the move, can create all that stuff. But both highly thought they could take off heading into year 2. And Mitch sort of kind of did, but that was the best we ever saw in 2018. And we're all hoping Caleb can take off this year, but continue to ascend beyond year 2 of his career. Another parallel. I think we think this defense is good. Now, that 2018 defense, even before Khalil Mack, was probably a tick better than this one is before insert potential trade. But I think just like that team, this team would benefit greatly from like a high-end pass rusher. Montez Sweat's a nice player. Even when he's at his best, though, I don't think he's a dominant week-in, week-out player. His career does not tell us that he is that. In 2023, that was the closest we got. He was playing really well at the Commanders. Bears trade for him. He played really well here. But historically, he's a very, 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 very good player, not consistently a dominant player, which is fine. Like, he makes $24 million per year with the way the edge market is. When he's right, I think he's worth that price tag. But ideally, he's a number 2 on a defensive line. A star edge rusher could make this an elite defense because you feel good about the defensive tackle group and the depth there. The linebackers should be solid, and the back end's going to be good. You got minor questions there. Can Brisker stay healthy? Is Tyreek Stevenson ready to be more consistent? But you had a dominant edge rusher, and Montez can slide into that number 2 role, dominate against the run first, which is an area he can dominate in, and be a good secondary pass rusher, throw different bodies at you on the interior. That front would be pretty good, and then you really don't have a weakness on that defense. So you could go from maybe this is the 9th to 13th best defense in the NFL on paper right now. You had a big-time pass rusher, maybe it's a top 5 unit, and in 2018, Khalil Mack made them probably the best defense in the league. And then, just like Khalil Mack with his holdout and his contract issues, there's 2 guys right now who are high-caliber pass rushers that have contractual issues as well. One is Trey Hendrickson, who is holding out in Cincinnati, not at Bengals camp. Micah Parsons is at Cowboys camp, but him and Jerry Jones are kind of throwing jabs through the media at each other, and he's playing on his 5th-year option as of now, and he wants a new contract. So you got a couple of guys who are highly regarded, 2 of the top 5 or 6 at their position in the sport, just like Khalil Mack was at the time. And again, he was frustrated. He was holding out of Raiders camp amid contract disputes. And if I remember correctly, while anytime a star holds out, there's always, people on the internet being like, oh, maybe they could trade him. There wasn't a lot of true reporting on this, and then boom, the Bears trade for him. Just like now, I wouldn't say there's a lot of reporting or any at all of the Bears trading for Trey Hendrickson or the Bears trading for Micah Parsons. But that gets us to this point. Should Ryan Poles go all in? And we're going to explore that next, explore some trades, and if the Bears should make that all-in move, are they ready to make that all-in move? But first, Bears are going to work every single day at training camp, and if you got projects or if you work in construction or whatever the case may be, you got to throw some working boots on. BruntWorkwear.com/chat. The boots from Brunt are the best in the game. $10 off with code CHAT. As a homeowner, there's always projects around the house to work on, and Brunt's boots provide both comfort and durability required to get those jobs done. Before I found Brunt, I can't tell you how many different working boots I tried and went through. I was left with foot pain, blisters. They just didn't offer the overall performance that Brunt does. The Marin boots, which is my personal favorite, they're very comfortable. They're durable. They're waterproof. They're as comfortable as your sneakers. In addition to being waterproof, they are lightweight, slip and oil resistant as well, heat resistant, and electrical hazard rated. Brunt has 500,000 other customers. Join the Brunt family today as they will let you try their boots on the job risk-free, and all of their products have free shipping as well. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up, so they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off with Brunt when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's code CHAT at bruntworkwear.com. You can use /chat as well, bruntworkwear.com/chat, $10 off, you're good to go. After your order, they'll ask you where you found out about Brunt. Tell them we sent you. Bears Now by Chat Sports. Okay, should Ryan Poles pull the trigger on Brunt boots? Absolutely. But also, and more importantly, the topic of today's show, on a blockbuster trade for a Micah Parsons, for a Trey Hendrickson, should he do what Ryan Pace did? Now, why did it not work out in the end when Ryan Pace made that trade? Because it's not that Khalil Mack wasn't an awesome player here. He was, especially in 2018. He transformed that defense. It was the best defense in the league for my money. I'll never forget them just completely embarrassing Jared Goff and that flying Rams offense and Todd Gurley on that. Was it Thursday, Monday night? Can't remember now. But in the end, they didn't win anything. Even though in 2018, when they lost in the double doink, you thought this was built to last, because you thought Mitch Trubisky, who put up respectable numbers, what I would call was a solid game manager in that 2018 season, took care of the ball, made good decisions. They were able to run the ball pretty effectively. But ultimately, the mistake Ryan Pace made is he went all in because he thought he had the quarterback, and he didn't, because this was the peak of Mitch. Kind of like last year with Caleb. We've all said, if that's the floor, if it's only better from there, that's great, especially if we take much bigger steps. If last year's as worse as it gets and there's a couple big steps coming, I'd be like, okay, it's probably worth the risk. But What if he only kind of flatlines or takes a minor step this year? And what if he regresses down the road? That's what you have to have in mind if you're Ryan Poles. If you make a move like this, you got to feel good about Caleb Williams. You have to feel great about Caleb Williams. And Ryan Pace thought Mitch was the guy. He took him number 2 overall. He traded up to get him. He said, this is the dude. He's going to elevate us. And it just never happened. He was a decent bus driver for about a year and a half. You need more if you're going to win big in the NFL. Do we have enough evidence? Caleb's got all the talent in the world. We've seen him play at a high level already through his rookie year, certainly more than Mitch did his rookie year. But can he bring it week in and week out? Can he be one of the 8, 10 best in the world, ideally top 5 quarterback in the league? It's hard to say. The talent is certainly there. I'm a believer, but I'm not Ryan Poles, and it's not my job to make these decisions. So I would certainly understand the hesitation to pull the trigger, but I would also understand the appeal if a Micah Parsons, if it went south and he did become available, and you're like, man, you add this guy, if Ben can get Caleb and the offense going, Micah's just giving us 13 sacks a year, Montez, the rest of that defense, like this team could be unbelievably good for the next several seasons. But in the end, you have to be confident that Caleb Williams is a franchise guy, at least a top 10 guy. If you think, hey, we know he's pretty good, we know he's a top 20 quarterback, probably top 15, but we don't know if he can consistently be one of the 8 best in the world, do you trade big-time assets to go get a pass rusher? I would understand the hesitation. Maybe it's something you'd rather revisit at the trade deadline or next offseason, but Micah Parsons frustrated in Dallas. Trey Hendrickson, things have not been pretty in Cincinnati. Like these guys, whether they're truly available or not, if they aren't available very often, and they won't be for very long because other teams will certainly be calling. So it's just an interesting potential dilemma that you would run into if you're Ryan Poles over the next few weeks. A couple of trades we'll look at in a second in terms of what the compensation would likely look like for each of those players, but this is why you subscribe. This time of year, crazy things can happen. No one saw the Khalil Mack trade happen, and then it did. We're going to cover it all here on Chicago Bears Now. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, training camp coverage every single day here on the channel. Now, Micah Parsons, I think it would be pretty simple. You're probably trading 2 first-round picks. Now, maybe it's a first and a second. Maybe it's a first, a day 2 pick, and a player of some sort. An Austin Booker, a starter at another position. I'm not sure. It would cost a lot. Micah Parsons just turned 26, and he has over 50 sacks in 4 years. He is a dominant pass rusher. He's one of the 3 or 4 best edge rushers in the league, improves as a run defender every year. You can drop him into coverage with his linebacker background. He's a freak in nature, and he could still be elite for, on the low end, 5 years, potentially 7, 8, 9 years at only 26 years old. I think Dallas could get 2 ones for Micah. I really, really do. I think his trade value would be notably higher than Trey Hendrickson's, just given the age and given the fact that he's still ascending as a player, whereas as good as Trey is and could stay at the level he's been at the last couple of years, he's probably not finding another gear at this point. That gets us to Trey Hendrickson, who's about 30. I think he's either about to turn 30 or just did. I think a 2 and a 4 is about what I would offer. A 2 this year, a 4 next year, 2 and 26, 4 and 27 is what I should say to get him. Listen, from a pure pass rushing standpoint, he's fantastic. He gets after the quarterback. He hits the quarterback a lot, beyond sacks as well. A lot of pressures, high pressure rate. He's an excellent pass rusher. Kind of average against the run. He's become better in that regard, but you wouldn't need him to be dominant there because that's what Sweat's for. Sweat is a dominant edge setter as a run defender, so that would actually be a pretty good pairing there. I think, too, the reason I would offer that, number one, is I don't think the Bengals have been offered a 1. I think if they were offered a first-round pick before the draft, they would have taken it because then they would have had the 17th pick and another first-round pick from another team. So 2 and a 4, take it or leave it. I don't know. Could things get ugly enough, and if they don't budge, would they just consider taking some type of package like that? Like, okay, like that's certainly, you're not giving up as much. You're still kind of going all in, but you're not mortgaging your future with this trade. You go all in on Micah with 2 1s, which I'd be tempted because I think he's that damn good and he's still ascending. But if it doesn't work with Caleb, well, you're out of a first round pick in the next 2 drafts. And how do you get a quarterback if you absolutely had to get one the next couple of years? You need draft capital. So I certainly would understand the risk there. Again, this really just comes down to how do the people in the building feel about Caleb Williams? If they think he's that dude, I think you got to be ready to make a trade like this if it's presented to you. If not, then you obviously don't pull the trigger and you let it play out and you see what happens moving forward. I would be right on the fence because we've seen enough to the point where I at least think he's going to be good. Can he be consistent? Can he be great? Probably have to see a little bit more to say that with full confidence. Should Ryan Poles go all in? What say you? Make the call. Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. Glad it's not me making those decisions. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We'll continue to cover the Bears on a daily basis here on this channel. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down.